Hello, grade 10s. Welcome back to our next lesson. So I'm going to again start off with corrections for exercise 9.1. So we'll start with E. Okay, so E just said what amount must be invested now to receive 650,000 Rand in 5 years' time if the compound interest rate is 6% per annum. Okay, so start off by writing out the compound interest formula. A is equal to P1 plus I to the power of N. And then you substitute. It says what amount must be invested now to receive 650,000. So 650,000 is the A value. 1 plus the interest rate is 6% per annum, compounded for 5 years. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this part in my calculator. So I'm going to say 1 plus 6% to the power of 5, which is 1.338 and so on. So P will be equal to 650,000 divided by answer, which should give you an answer of 485,717,81. Okay, then F says how long would it take for an investment of 50,000 to increase to 65,000 with an interest rate of 5.5% per annum simple interest. So now because this is simple interest, we're going to write the simple interest formula. So A is equal to P1 plus I times N. Okay, they gave you the A value, which was 65,000. The P value was 50,000. 1 plus the interest rate they said was 5.5%, multiplied by the time period, which you don't know. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by the 500,000. Sorry, it's not 500,000, it's 50,000. And you'll get an answer for that. So you can 50,000, you'll get 13 over 10. Which is equal to 1 plus 5.5% times N. So you'll take 13 over 10 minus 1, which is equal to 5.5% times N. It will be 3 over 10 is equal to 5.5% times N. Then you'll just divide both sides by 5.5%. And you should get an answer of 5.4545. So N is equal to 5.4545. So you must give it in years and months because it's not a full year. So we have 5 years. So 0.4545 times 12 is going to be approximately 5 months. So it's 5 years and 5 months. Okay, so if it's not a full year, then it's better to give it in months always. so that it is a more accurate time period. Okay, so it won't necessarily ask you to give it in years and months, but unless you have a full year, then rather always give it in months as well. Okay, then the next question was G. It says calculate how long it would take for an investment of 9,000 to double if the simple interest rate is 11%. So simple interest, A is equal to P1 plus IN. They said that the principal value is 9,000, and they said that it's going to double, which is 18,000. 1 plus the interest is 11% times N. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to divide both sides by 9,000, and we will get 2, which is equal to 1 plus 11% times N. So 1 is equal to 11% times N. So then N is going to be equal to 9.0909, which would mean it's 9 years and 0.909 times 12 will be equal to 1 comma something, so it'll be and 1 month. Okay. So the next question was I. So I started off by saying Janet invests 80,000 and it accumulates to 90,000 over a period of 2 years. It wants you to calculate the interest if it uses simple, and then the second one is to use compound. So we'll start with the simple interest one. A is equal to P1 plus IN. So they told you that it goes from 80,000 to 90,000. So you'll have 90,000 is equal to 80,000. Multiplied by 1 plus the interest rate they want times 2. So you'll have 9 over 8 is equal to 1 plus I times 2. So then you'll have 1 over 8, which is equal to 2I. So I is going to be equal to 0.0625, which means the actual interest rate R is equal to 6.25%. Okay, then the second one, number 2, is using compound interest, 1 plus I to the power of N. Again, the A's and the P stays the same. 1 plus I now to the power of 2. So again, I start by dividing both sides by 80,000, and I'm going to get 9 over 8 is equal to 1 plus I squared. Then I root both sides, so I'll have the root of 98 is equal to 1 plus I, which means that the root of 98 minus 1 is equal to I. So I will be equal to 0.0606 continued. So the R is just going to be 6.1%. Okay, and that's it. So if you're done with that and you are happy to move on, then you can rule off. Okay, you can write the date, which is going to be the 15th of May. And your heading is hire purchase agreements. Okay, so today we're going to look at two types of, well, today specifically we're only going to be looking at the one type, which is called a hire purchase agreement. So now a hire purchase agreement, there are some points to take note of here. First of all, a hire purchase agreement is a short-term loan. So it's a loan, which means that that gains interest. So it's an amount that I take today and it grows interest over time. So it's a short-term loan that gains interest. Okay, the next thing is that the loan uses simple interest always. So it's not going to tell you that it's simple interest. You must know that it's simple interest unless it does tell you. But always remember, if it's a hire purchase agreement, then it must be simple interest. Okay, the next point to note is that normally a deposit is paid before the loan is basically repaid. So the loan is paid before interest is added. So that means you subtract the deposit from the P value. Okay, so let's have a look at the first example. It says a laptop costs R16,000. Tina pays a 10% deposit and then takes out a hire purchase loan on the balance. She intends to pay the loan off in 24 monthly installments. Her interest is calculated at 22% per annum. Calculate her monthly installments. Okay, so first of all, we know that this is a hire purchase agreement. So we start by writing out our simple interest formula. A is equal to P1 plus IN. Okay, so before we can substitute into this equation, we must note that there is a deposit. So you have to work the deposit out first before you can substitute into the P value. Okay, so it says that she pays a 10% deposit. So of the 16,000, she pays a 10% deposit. So we first calculate what 10% of 16,000 is, which is going to be 1,600. So this is the amount that she deposits, which means that the P value is the balance, which is 16,000 minus 1,600. So the P value is actually 14,400. Okay, because remember the deposit she pays first, and then she takes the rest out on loan. Okay, so I say, well, I'm calculating the A value, okay, because I'm trying to figure out how much is going to need to be paid at the end of the 24-month period. So I have 14,400 for my P value. Then the interest rate was 22% and the loan was taken over 24 months. So you'll have 1 plus the interest, which is 22%. Now 24 months in years is going to be 2. So be careful, you can't put 24 because that's the months. Okay, you must put just 2 for 2 years. Okay, so when we continue, you put this on your calculator and you get 20,736 Rand. So this is how much she owes at the end of the 24-month period. So in order for her to pay this off in 24 months, we need to work out the monthly payments. Which is going to be equal to the 20,736 divided by, now she pays it over 24 months. So we'll put that on our calculator and we'll get 864 Rand. Okay, you must use your calculator when you're solving for this. There's no use in just writing the answer that I give, because if you can't use your calculator, you're not going to get any of this right. Okay, so I'm going to give you a try. So a laptop costs 8,000 Rand on hire purchase. Tim pays a 800 Rand deposit and then pays the balance in 36-month installments. Of 344 Rand. Calculate the interest per annum. The interest rate per annum. So pause the video, take a moment to work it out yourself, and then we will continue. Okay, so he wants to purchase a cell phone, a laptop, sorry, which is going to cost him 8,000 Rand, but he makes a deposit of 800 Rand. So the P value is going to be the 8,000 minus the deposits, which is going to be 7,200. So now we need to figure out, okay, how much does he pay? So in the period of 36 months, he pays 344 Rand. So that means that the A value is equal to 344 multiplied by 36, because isn't it that's how much he paid? So that would give us a total of 12,384 Rand. Okay, you must think about these questions. Okay, it's not just going to be straightforward, and they're not just going to give you all the values offhand. Okay, you must read and interpret what they are asking you and what they've given you. Okay, now I have the A, I have the P. They want to know what the I is, so the I don't know, and they said it takes 36 months. So I have the N. Okay, 36 months is 3 years. So A is equal to P1 plus IN. So the A value is 12,384. The P value is 7,200. 1 plus the interest rate is what they want, times 3. So first step is to divide both sides by 7,200. So you'll have 18 over 25. Well, I skipped a step here. So you'll have 12,384 divided by 7,200, which is going to be 43 over 25, which is equal to 1 plus 3i. So then you'll minus 1 and get 18 over 25, which is equal to 3i. Then you'll divide by 3 to get I to be equal to 0.24, which means the interest rate R is 24%. Okay, so I multiply by 100 here, I divided by 3 at the next step here, and I minus 1 at the step here on both sides. Okay, so I hope that it makes sense and that it was pretty straightforward. Okay, so what I want you to do is, for your homework and classwork, if there's time, you're going to do exercise 9.2 on page 286 in your textbooks. Okay, I want you to do number A. Then I want you to do number D, and then F and H. Okay, like I said, you can do more if you need it, if you would like to practice more, because there are obviously some other questions in that exercise, but that's all I expect you to do for the next lesson. Okay, so I hope it makes sense. Make sure you go over any examples that you need to redo in order to understand, but otherwise, good luck, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.